Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Danielle and I'm from KJ's Reading. So today's pick a card. We're just going to the tried and true. What do your guides want you to know right now? What is something that has been on your mind and you could use some guidance around? So that being said, we have 3 piles to choose from. First pile, pile 1, is going to be this quartz cluster. Pile 2 is this bloodstone. I almost called it Moonstone every time, so I'm not sure what's going on there. And then pile 3 actually is Rainbow Moonstone, and it's an angel. All right, there you have it. So there is no extended for this reading today, just so you know. But otherwise, if you do ever want to get access to the YouTube members only videos, there is extendeds and members only full-length videos. If you join the community, then you do get access to all those readings during the time that you are a member. So that is always an option. If you want to help support me, my cats, and my channel, I so appreciate it. Otherwise, I'm just going to give a little description on how to choose a pile if you've never done that. So if you have done card reading before, you might want to go and choose your piles, unless you like listening to me say this, then that's also cool. Okay, so if you've never done a pick a card reading before, the best thing to do is take a second, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out. Essentially, what we're trying to do is get you out of the mind, out of the head, and back into the body. Why is this important? Because essentially we have the stresses of the whole day, all our thoughts, all those lists, all the things we have to do kind of in the forefront of our focus and our attention. And by dropping into the body, it can help us connect more to our intuition, to sort of like our gut knowing. And essentially that's what you're going to want to use to choose your pile. So if you're able to, you might want to close your eyes for a brief moment. Take another breath in. Another breath out, feeling into your body. You might feel how your feet are feeling on the floor. If you're sitting down, you might feel how your body's feeling in the chair. Taking maybe another breath in and another breath out. And then before opening your eyes, you might want to ask yourself, is there a message for me in one of these piles? And then upon opening your eyes, take a look at the crystals or the card decks. And if something about them is just catching your eye or drawing you to them, then that is most likely your pile. It might be the color, it could be the shape or an imagery. There's no wrong or right way. You also might want to choose by the numbers in the description box below. So there is a timestamp associated with each pile. There might be a number that means something to you, or you just might like choosing by numbers. And if you get into a card reading or to a pile and it just doesn't feel like it's right for you, then don't feel like you have to make it fit. It's totally okay to exit out and choose another pile. And the other thing I was going to say is sometimes people are drawn to more than one pile. So sometimes there's like a little bit of a message in both. And if you're not drawn to any, it could just mean that there isn't a message for you today, but there might be one here in future for you. Okay, without further ado, I'll let you choose your piles. You now have all the tools to do so, and I'll see you in your pick a card readings. Okay, pile 1, so you chose this clear quartz. Very pretty. I will just put it over here, and we're just looking at what would your guides like you to know today? Right now, all in love and light, and for your highest good, pile 1s, what would your guides like you to know? Okay.
Good.
Awesome. And then I'm also going to grab another deck and just pull some clarifying cards here quickly. Okay. I'm not sure if this is all going to fit in frames. You know what? Actually, let's just pull cards for one card at a time. So we have, sorry, for the first card, creative writing, we have Cherry and Ruby. Live an extraordinary life and rejuvenate your body. that is actually pretty awesome. Why I love this is so creative writing. I was kind of, as I was pulling cards for clarifiers, trying to ask what exactly would be the purpose of this creative writing. And for some, I actually usually kind of get more of a prompt around journaling. So it says, make time to write down your thoughts in a journal or pen, an article or book. And it just talks about kind of creating a bit of a daily practice that regrounds you and recenters you. And for this pile, I imagine that you feel quite good when you have time to literally get your thoughts out. Get your thoughts out, get redirected for the day, or maybe it's even like a way you process things at the end of the night. Or it could be both. If you like to start off the day with 5 or 10 minutes of just journaling, I really do get like this is like intention setting. How do you want this day to go for you? How do you want to show up in the world today? How do you want to be? Because your clarifying cards, sorry, this is where I was saying these are really awesome. Talk about it gets you grounded. It gets you rooted and centered in yourself. I really, really like that. And look at this, live an extraordinary life. So like talk about redirection and intention, like to start your day, like affirming, stating, what kind of day do you want to have? How are you going to let people influence you? How are you going to show up in the world, whether it's in great situations or tricky situations? How are you going to be? How do you want to be? And then just like really, really giving yourself that opportunity to live an extraordinary life. Ruby, rejuvenate your body. I like this because I do feel like journaling often comes with a little bit of a meditational practice. So in itself, it could be a bit of a meditation practice to just take a deep breath, close your eyes, check in with yourself. And I feel like this does help the body. It helps you feel, how would I put it? It's like sometimes, if it's say there's like an emotion that's coming up and the emotion is unsettled or feeling stressed or anxious. And sometimes if we just check in with ourselves, we let ourselves feel that emotion, not always, but sometimes can go away because it was just needing to be acknowledged. And I almost get that. Like, I wonder if there's some stress that when you just sit with it for a moment, or some fear when you just sit with it for a moment and you get that recentered perspective and intention, that it really helps you let go of that physical stress or that physical anxiety. So it could be something you hold in your stomach, it could be something you hold in your shoulders. And I really feel like it actually physically helps your muscles relax for the day, which is really interesting. And same thing for the evening. I do feel like this would be like as a digestion, like to digest the day, to digest what happened, and to once again refocus your energy. What went well that day? Did you live with the intentionality that you were wanting to? And it really brings like a mindful practice where you're more consciously choosing where your focus goes. And once again, it regrounds you. I feel like it really recenters you. So that seems like a really, really supportive habit for this pile. Yeah, very supportive. Also, I want to say, if you've been feeling really drawn to wear like deep reds, I would go with that. I feel like you really might be someone who likes to work with color. And if you like wearing a color to bring more of that energy in, then that is awesome. You do that. That brings in the creativity, Like, I actually also like wearing certain colors to bring in certain energies, especially during like sound baths or like any kind of energy work. I like to make sure that the colors I'm wearing feel supportive for my intention. So yeah. Okay. Clister, clear intention. So I was kind of laughing because I smacked down 2 cards for this. And that's when I was like, all right, this is going to be too many cards if I just keep pulling these. So it says silver, be persistent, mauve, enjoy clear hearing. And why I'm laughing at this is crystal clear intentions. I mean, your colors that you got for this clarification of this card couldn't be more spot on. It's kind of cool and wild at the same time. It says, be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. So this talks about communicating clearly and hearing things clearly. That's what this card talks about. When you're setting intentions and when you're hearing what people are saying back to you. I often see this card come up when there's like problems that we're having or solutions that we're needing, but we feel like we have to do it ourselves, and we kind of get stuck in our own little heads, a lot of mental energy about how can I fix this? How can I figure this out? And it's constantly going. But what I love about Enjoy Clear Hearing is this talks about some people might already have offered help or opportunities of assistance, and you might kind of have misheard it or overlooked it or something like that, because you might have just been so caught up in that, like, I need to figure it out, that you didn't really even hear some of these things. So if that's resonating, if there's situations where I have a lot of stress around this and I need a solution, it's talking about clearing essentially kind of your mind. And I know that can be kind of tricky to do. And let me explain this here. It's like, this is where I feel like that creative writing is kind of like step one, because I feel like that's going to actually help you clear out a lot of those thoughts. So this is a really good part 2, where it's like taking a breath and coming back to what your intentions were for yourself that day. And that helps you see things more clearly. And I also feel like having that practice helps you realize that most people who do well in life or who are successful didn't get there alone. And that might even help you be able to be more open and perceptive to how other people can help you. The other thing that I find interesting is I am getting a bit of a message around clearing your intuition. And clearing your intuition, it means like you might need to start checking in a little bit more with it. I wonder if you've gone more for the mind energy over the intuition. And everything has its place. I'm very, very adamant about that. There's time to be more in the mind, and there's time to listen to just what the body is saying. And there's times where they both really work well together. But I feel like there's a bit of a out of balance going on here, where you've gone a lot to only being in the head, and you're needing to remember that your intuition sometimes has that magic answer that you've been looking for. The mind is thinking too much. It needs to remember it's not in control of everything. So I love that. And be persistent. I love this because I feel like some of you might have felt like maybe I just need to like give up, or I need to move on or not continue with whatever you're trying to get after. So if some of you are trying to change jobs or change houses or something like that, it's like, don't give up, be persistent, but allow your intuition to guide you more on it, and be able to hear how people are offering help. Allow yourself to be more helped by others. I hope that makes sense, because I know it can sound kind of weird, but it is surprising how sometimes we really just aren't hearing how people have been trying to help us. Like, we might dismiss it. So for example, something I've heard people say is like, I'm living in my car, because I live in a place where people live in other cars, and my car keeps breaking down, and I'll have to pay for a hotel because I can't stay in my car anymore, and I can't afford it, and like there's a lot of stress and all these things. And then the thing that's crazy to me is other people offer them to stay at their house for the night or for a week or however long they need, and they're like, no, I can't. My only option is to pay for a hotel that I can't afford and stress me out, and then that's my only solution. And it's crazy, because I'm like, I as the bystander, like, wait, but people have free rooms that they're letting you stay in. Like, why aren't you taking that help? But it's like, in their reality, it's not an option, because they're supposed to do it on their own. They're not supposed to accept help from people. Like, they literally can't even see that this is something that's actually being offered to them. And they're wishing there was a solution, but they say they have none. And it's like, it's weird as a third party person, because you're like, wait, what? I'm so confused. There is a solution. So I'm not going to say that specific scenario is your scenario, but I'm hoping that analogy, or that example, I should say, is a clarifier to what I'm trying to say here, where there might be people offering you like solutions, but it's something where you're like, oh, I could never accept that. So it's not actually an option, but it's actually the option that you're kind of hoping for. So if someone is like trying to offer you like some finances or something like that, or some services or some free work or something to help you out, and you're like, nope, can't, and then you're still stuck trying to find someone to fix it, or problems with it, or something like that, saying maybe it's time to look at the people trying to offer you help. Something like that. Okay. Healthy lifestyle. Let's pull a card for clarifying that. For pile ones, we have blue. Activate your healing powers. Ooh. this is a really pretty card. Sorry, that's what my pause was. It was like, wow, this is captivating. It's like really draws you in. Yeah. I also feel like I see the number 6 and the number 9, which is also the yin yang symbol. But anyways, it might talk about bringing more balance in your energies, in the masculine and feminine, in the receiving and giving, in the taking action and rest. I wouldn't be surprised if actually that was the meaning, because healthy lifestyle, and after seeing your other second card coming through being like, hey, like, dude, you're doing everything and you might just need some help, some rest, some chill time. And it's really hard to chill, as you probably know, when you're stressed and there's so much weight on you and you don't have anyone else who helps you. So I just really feel like this is saying, all right, time to find a little more balance, because it is affecting your health. I was kind of saying, for the first card here is, I wonder if you do have some sort of digestive upset that can happen from time to time, or back, neck, shoulder stress, or maybe both. And it's just like, hey, it's really important for you to actually take time to be able to relax and like breathe. And I have to say that I have noticed I've been holding a lot of tension in my chest. So it's almost like I'm like holding my breath a little bit. And I keep catching myself throughout this reading holding my breath. So that might be something you want to bring awareness to as well, or just check in and see if it's something that you're doing as the viewer. As usually I just mimic the energy of whoever's watching this. So just making sure that you are seeing, are you holding your breath? Is there like a inhale and an exhale you can take? And also, you know what's very interesting? So I'm still in my breathwork training, but it's very interesting how you start to see what kind of character traits hold their breath in certain places during a breath. So some people like don't really like taking a big inhale. Some people won't really like letting the exhale go. Like they'll pause and try to not let the exhale out. And other people are really reluctant to take the inhale. So it's really interesting. You start like learning things, and like, I guess you'd say like starting to recognize patterns between things that people are struggling with and the way they breathe. And there's a lot of information in how you breathe. So if you find yourself holding your breath, I'd be really curious to see if it's on the inhale or the exhale, and just really, what does that mean? If you're holding it on the exhale, it might mean that you have a hard time letting go of control, letting go of being in control. So sorry, I know sometimes it can be frustrating when people say you need to let go of control, because sometimes like it's like, what does that even mean? I'm not trying to control anything, but essentially what it is saying is that there's something in your life that you're trying to manage the outcome of. And it could be a lot of things that you're trying to manage the outcome of. And sometimes there is that like need to surrender a little bit more. So that's super common, actually. I think I see a lot more people hold their breath than anything. Just holding on the exhale. Letting go of control and just surrendering to not being able to always change the outcome. So anyways, that being said, it's interesting that the other clarifying card for health is lemon. And it just definitely makes me think of the solar plexus chakra, and how essentially what we're just talking about with the breathing habits, or feeling like we need to be in control or do everything we can to manage the outcome of relationships, events, like anything really, what happens in certain situations. That's very solar chakra based. So it says access innovative thinking, which is interesting. I kind of love this because I actually feel like this pile is super practical. Like, I think if you realize that something you're doing is inefficient, I think you would change. So there's a part of me that's like, if you can see that doing everything on your own is actually very inefficient, I think that would go really far, because I think you'd be like, oh, well, that just doesn't even make sense. Why do I keep doing it? So I kind of like love that about this person's energy, or your energy, is that it's just practical once you see it, though. So that's the thing it's saying, is like sometimes you need to see it and see how something is not actually working to let it go and move on to the next thing. But I want to really acknowledge you. You are really good at changing once you spot it, once you spot the inefficiency. But that's super cool. Not everybody has that. So good on you guys. You're doing really awesome. Okay, we're gonna put that one down. Career transition. I'm very curious for a clarifying card for this, because I do find that can mean like anything for people. So let's just ask. Clarifying card for career. Okay. Once again, we have intuition coming through, kind of following what you know you want for yourself or what you're feeling called or inspired towards. Connect to the body, mind, and soul. And Auburn, ground yourself. Ooh, and you know what's actually really cool? So you have a number 44 that came up for the clarifier and 11. So part of me was wondering if this is talking about following a career path that feels like what you were meant to do. And whether you believe in that or not, believe people have a soul purpose or destiny, ultimately what this means is that there is something out there that really gets you excited. That you're like, I love this. I actually love this kind of work and I want to get after this. And whether it's because everything about the job itself is interesting to you or the change it creates is what you're passionate about, it's saying that there is something that once you make that career transition or once you move more into that, maybe that new direction, because I have to say, like often with career transition, it can sometimes be that we need to shift our mindset so that we are pursuing something from a different light than we were before, a different intention. Sorry, I said at the start, and now it's kind of gone, but it's like just redirecting the intention of the work we're doing. How would I say, like the energy of it itself changes. And I do feel like with lavender coming through, it talks about it actually bringing a lot of peace to you, because I wonder if there's like this feeling of incompleteness that comes from some of this. Like I wonder if sometimes you just feel a little bit restless or like, oh, I just know I'm not quite doing what I should be doing, or there's something missing in the work that I'm doing. But you might actually really feel like this pile is someone where it's not actually a full career transition. It's just like a half step thing. Like you're going to be still doing a similar thing, but it looks a little bit different. The intention behind it's different. The way it's maybe shared is going to be a little bit different. I'm not totally sure, but I do feel like it brings a lot of peace to you stepping into that, redirection of the career. Like I want to say that it's just a slight redirection. And also ground yourself. I really love this because I feel like there's a lot, once again, of mental energy about it, because I feel like it's like weighing on you. Like I know something's not right. I know I'm not feeling complete in my work in some way. Something's bothering me about it. And then here it's like, if you get literally reconnect with yourself, which is way back at step 1, remember, getting grounded, being your best advice for feeling connected, centered, and intentional. Again, I just feel like this pile really likes being intentional and like aware. Yeah, like I keep getting like all these like old podcasts that I heard in my head as I think about this pile, where it's like, like you really can't control everything that happens in a day, but you can just control how you handle it. And I kind of getting like some Tony Robbins, like inspirational, motivational stuff, like some of his old stuff where it's like, who do you want to be today? How do you want to show up today? What are you grateful for? And how, like, living in the now is actually all life is, like, just things like that. Like, so right now is life. Right now is life. And now is life. What are you doing right now is actually how you're choosing to live life. So it's just, I feel like this pie really likes that intentional aspect. So anyways, getting grounded with yourself. And then I feel like really feeling like, what is this transition that you're needing, or that redirection in the career, to feel like it's actually, I want to say, fulfilling you. And like I said, it doesn't have to mean, I don't know if it's going to be every step of the job that you love, but I do feel like the outcome is what you're passionate about. I know I already said that, but it does feel like that. Like how it helps the world is what you're passionate about. And that really brings that calmness to you again, where you're like, you're not feeling like something's missing, like you're supposed to be somewhere, but you're not, if that makes sense. All is well. Archangel Jeremiel, everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to. With hidden blessings, you will soon understand. I love this. Jeremiel is like the angel of review. So it's like, if you believe in Akashic records, it's like the angel that kind of goes over your life with you at the end of the days and says, here, this is like where you wanted to learn this lesson and you didn't really, and this is another lesson you wanted to learn and you did learn it, and then this happened, and it's like the angel of life review. And I really like that he comes through in this card to say, like, you actually are exactly where you're supposed to be. This confusion, this redirection, this learning balance again, setting clear intentions, it's exactly where you're supposed to be to find the outcome or the next thing for you. We can pull a clarifying card too, if you like. Let's do it. I feel like someone's like, let's just do it. We did it for the other ones. Maybe this pile likes rules. I'm not sure. Okay, clarify that card. Rainbow, connect to spirit in nature. I love that. The number one, first step. I like this because like rainbows are just associated kind of with like, you know, everything being all right, healing, clearing, finding that pot of gold, kind of magic-y vibes I always find, and then everything as well. So I think this is great. It's like literally trust in that spirit. I know that can be hard because I feel like, yeah, I was saying this pile right now is currently struggling a little bit with feeling like they need to take all the action, but it's like, remember that there is a little bit of surrender. And remember, like, there's like this, okay, I feel like this must be a story also in English. I was told it in French, but essentially it was about, and sorry, this is like from a Catholic perspective, like with like someone, you know, France, got a lot of Catholics. So they were saying the story that this man falls into quicksand because there's like that island in France where it's surrounded by quicksand the monks stay at. I can't, Saint Michel or something. I can't remember. Anyways, but that part doesn't matter. And he says only he will only let God save him. And 3 different people come and try to offer the guy help. And he's just like, nope, God will save me if he's real and he loves me. And then in the end of the story, the guy dies. And when he goes to heaven, the God, he's speaking to God and he's like, why didn't you save me? Why didn't you love me? And God is like, I sent 3 people to help you and you turned them away. Like, that was me helping you. And it kind of makes me think of that. Like the universe helps you through bringing opportunities, the people and everything. So when you get the people helping you, when you get the right people that just seem like an answer to your prayers, it really could be your miracle, you know? It really could be. And if it doesn't feel like it, then maybe the question to ask is, what is the miracle you're hoping for? Like, are you hoping for the universe to come down and show itself to you in its clearest state, which I'm not really sure what that would be. As I'm thinking about this, I'm like, what would that be? Maybe you know. But just like even thinking about that, like what, like if you're not offering, like accepting help from others who feel like it would just be such a miracle to like to help you. And I wonder if sometimes this power, like it's too good to be true, I can't trust it. I don't know if you have any of that energy. Don't take it on if it's not. But if you do struggle with that, maybe thinking about that story and being like the universe is everything and everyone, and people who come to help us is the universe helping us. So just kind of thinking about that. Spiritual understanding. It's kind of funny. I didn't actually look at what this card said. And I feel like it just explained it. It's like the universe is helping us. We're asking for help. And it's like just a matter of accepting it because we all are connected. So how I always like to look at it is like, if you have a need that you're really needing help with, or not even really needing help with, that you're asking for help with, and you put it out there in the universe and you're like, I want to help with this, please bring some sort of solution. And then a person who's also connected to the universe, who loves fulfilling that need for others or offering that help for others, hears it and finds you. That's however they do. They don't consciously, I think, find you, but they just subconsciously do. And then if you say no, then it's like a little bit sad for that person because their higher self was like, wait, I thought I was going to be able to do the thing I want to do where I could offer this thing. But you just didn't remember that you could accept the help, and that help could have been the help you were praying for. Or does that make sense? Okay, anyway, let's pull a clarifying card. Yellow, purify your body. Yeah, you have a lot of solar chakra stuff coming up. And for how I'm seeing it, it's nourish your body and soul chocolate. Yeah, there is a need of self-care, like physical self-care is what I keep getting for this pile. I do feel like stress has really affected you physically. I mean, yeah, like I said, never take something if it doesn't resonate, but I'm really getting that. Like maybe you're getting stress rashes. I wonder if this pile gets like IBS or something like that. I'm not sure. But I could see that just because of the energy of consistently stress. And stress usually does affect the digestion. Could affect also things like fascial tissues, which would cause lots of knots in the body, which could cause like really, honestly, muscle issue anywhere. But it just feel like it's saying really, really important to prioritize your physical health right now. And how you do that is starting with release, like working on the mind, which I feel like you probably already know. I feel like your mind is really busy, having a hard time turning off, because all these people have busy mind circles. They literally have busy mind circles. So if there's anything you're going to take away from this whole reading, it's like step 1, start with that intentional writing in the morning. And I know it would be great if you could do it in the evening as well, but I feel like where you're really going to see the biggest impact is in the mornings, because like I said, it really redirects your energy and your intention for the day. And if you do it also at the end of the night, I think it's just a beautiful way to also reflect on how much you did do, what you want more of in your life, what you are grateful for, and just really like a really good emotional processing of the day and reflection that I feel like could be very grounding. Like I feel like having that morning and ending routine could be very grounding. So yeah, okay, I am just gonna ask for any other guidance for this pile, just to kind of conclude everything that we have been talking about. Victory and teaching and learning. I love this. So I do like, if I were to like summarize how I'm seeing this energy as an outsider looking in, I feel like you're someone who kind of knows all this stuff more or less, but the human in you got caught up in some stress, got caught up in like probably some, like, I just feel like a tricky situation or things just not working out. Could have been financial, could have been like a relationship thing. And I feel like ultimately it's just like one of those little low lulls, but I think you're going to make it out of just fine, because still with the victory coming in. And I feel like you really have like a really good background for knowing how to get yourself out of things and take care of yourself. But sometimes you just like kind of forget and stop prioritizing. And there's so much here about like, you're really good at following your intuition when you're not in this stress state. It's almost like you think you fall out of this like healthier habits, taking care of yourself, being in that balanced surrender and action taking place. When you start getting like, I think when you start struggling with something, like once again, I would wonder if this is financial, just because, you know, in this day and age, in North America, I should say, usually if we have any sort of money struggles, it really can make us feel like none of our needs are going to be met. And it's just, you know, it's a big stress. So I do feel like something like that could happen. And that's when you kind of go into that like hyper, we'd say masculine energy of just taking action, needing to control the outcome, manage the outcome as best as possible. But you kind of go more and more into it, and you kind of forget that you need to rest. You kind of forget that other people can help or offer support. There's sort of like this magic of the universe that can come in. And it makes sense, like looking at this energy, why it would happen, because I just feel like so much stress, so much burdens kind of start stacking up, and you're just doing everything you know how to get out of it, and by taking action. And you know what? It's logical. There is a need to take action, but I feel like you only take action and you don't even know if you sleep. Like part of me is like, do you sleep, or does your mind just start trying to figure out problems at all hours of the day and things like that? So anyways, teaching and learning, I feel like you're slowly getting better and better at not being in this cycle as long as you have perhaps been in the past. And I think you're also always like, all right, I'm going to do better next time, which is a pretty good attitude to have. But anyways, I am going to leave this reading here. I feel like pile ones in my card readings are always so long. They're always like max time. So thank you if you're a pile one person for sticking in and watching the whole reading. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to let you go here. And hopefully I see you in another pivot card reading. And just in case you don't know, maybe you do know, if you're a pile one and you're always getting these long readings, I do have a YouTube membership. If you want to join it, it is blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I feel like I'm all of a sudden tripping over my words. If you want to join it, there is access to all the extended readings and the members only videos. You can sign up for however long you want. Yeah. So anyways, it's like a really cool way you can support me and my channel if you like to, and also get more readings. So that being said, thank you so much for listening to me talk for 30 minutes, and I'll see you around. Hello, pile two. So you chose the Moonstone. bloodstone. Sorry about that. I will put it right over here. So we're just looking at what do you need to know right now from your guides on limit light and for your highest good. What's pile 2 need to know right now? All right, blessings and curses, psychic self-love and beauty. We have be patient, it will come, manifestations, power, and flower child. Let's check else. What's pile 2 need to know right now? Okay, I guess we're doing 8 cards for you. Why not? Really, honestly, why not? Okay. So, momentum, creativity, action, honor, integrity. Okay. That which is true will always be enough. Okay. I thought I said kill enough. And I was like, wait, what? Okay. We have grow together, community connection, reciprocity. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I went through a month where I couldn't say the word reciprocity. Oh my gosh, I think it's starting again. I just tried to read it and I got confused. Shit. Darn it. That happens every now and then with a word. I look at it, I think about it too much, and then I literally can't say it. So the servant queen, divine, magnetic, valuable, magic, power, beings, and transformation, eternal, center, guru, protection, and peace. There's a place within me. I'm not underestimating my own magic anymore. You're worthy of beautiful things and find those who inspire you to bloom. This is very interesting. This pile feels pretty, oh, sorry, the camera's not focused. I feel like this pile is pretty spiritual. You're pretty into it. I guess I'm kind of laughing because I'm like, well, you're watching a card reading, so you probably are, but there's some piles I get where I'm like, you're a little more woo-woo than the other piles, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just something coming through because all of this is let yourself be a little more magical. Sorry, this might be annoying with the camera, but I was like, oh, not all the cards are in, and I just need to, there we go. Scooch the frame around a little bit. Okay, because yeah, everything here is kind of talking about, firstly, there's a lot of take the first step vibes coming through. There's a lot of ones on these cards, and then the next row is 33, 3. I don't know, number 8. I just kind of think that's really cool. I kind of feel like there's a first step, and you're just needing to take some first steps right now. And sometimes first steps is getting back to basics. So this first card that came out, as I was pulling it, I was like, I need to close my eyes. I need to take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out, and intentionally on the exhale, let go of anything that's lingering in my mind that's not really serving me. And what I mean by that is there's sometimes where I'm like, whoa, I'm actually not being that present right now. I have a lot of things going on in my head, and I'm not actually just focused on this reading. And then what was interesting is I was like, I wonder if I'm going to pull a card for you that's going to talk about getting more grounded. And this card is, look at that, very red, which is root chakra. And then I like how it's this person's mind. It's it's time to bring that focus back on you. What does it say here? Do not be ashamed, not of your thorns or of your flowers. So I feel like there's a lot here saying time to come back to basics and looking and focusing your attention back on yourself and your own self-care. And something I've noticed is a bit of a theme. So if you're watching this as this is coming out, the theme I've found for this month for people is to really, really, really look at where are you having an aversion to looking. And let me explain that in another way if that seems a little bit weird wording. Where are you putting all your focus versus where do you know you should be focusing? It kind of makes me think a little bit of procrastination, but it's deeper than that. So this card's talking more specifically about paying attention to how you've been feeling. So if you've been feeling really disheartened or worried or sad or just you need to grieve something or overwhelmed, whatever emotion is going on here, it's what have you been ignoring within yourself and putting all your focus on an action you can take instead. because it is good to take action, but you skip the step of looking and honoring what you were feeling. So this really talks about coming back to what have you been avoiding or had an aversion to looking at or sitting with, more specifically, sitting with yourself. And that is actually the thing that's going to bring you the most peace, because this card can come up in a time where it's like you're trying so hard to create a physical change because you're like, okay, I'm not feeling comfortable with something in my life. If I take as much action as possible, the most extreme action towards something else, I will get through it. And that is true to a degree, but there is just like that emotional processing we have to do. And I really feel like it's saying you've done all that you really can right now. I really feel like that for this pile. This is really an energy of this month, I should say too. I just keep getting that message for the energy themes and just for guidance. It's like people have been trying so hard to physically take action to create the change they need. But the problem is what's coming up is that there's emotions that just need to be processed. There's like shame or grief or stress that just needs to be sit with. People need to sit with. There we go. I'm like, what's the past tense of sit? Is it sat? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. So first step is like really getting honest with yourself. Where have you been distracting yourself from or trying to avoid feeling into? What have you been avoiding feeling into? There we go. Sorry, I feel like sometimes my English could be better. The sun, manifestation, power, 1111. So this is where I was saying, like, I do feel like there's just like some synchronistic things that are happening. And I feel like if you're feeling like you're just like at your wit's end, I feel like it's saying you've pushed yourself so hard, but maybe look at if this is a pattern. Have you done this your whole life? Do you take action without saving any time to just let yourself feel the emotions, be with these emotions? Like the thing that's really interesting is the sun is sleeping in this card, and the sun energy is usually associated with masculine energy. And it's like, it's time to let some of that masculine energy relax, slow down, and take a rest. Because like I said, it's all about balance. Like there's nothing wrong with being an action taker, but when you're taking action to the point of just complete exhaustion, there's a point where you need to just be like, hey, all right, what is going on within me? What is coming up within me? And I think you have this awareness. I would imagine you just don't quite feel like yourself. Your emotions, you might have like a little bit of like maybe like a low grade depression going on, or just like a low feeling. And I do feel like it's kind of something where once you start to feel it, you're like, I just need to take more action. But there's like an ask right now that you spend a little more time just letting yourself feel those. So holding space for yourself. Momentum, creativity, and action. So I kind of love this, because it's just saying, like, here, let's actually read this. It says, I hope that over everyone else, you learn to make yourself proud. Okay, so like, I just keep feeling like there's like a little more need to be less business, less work, and more joy, more play. And I know that sometimes can be really hard to want to justify making time for, but I feel like I think like the words in this page are really standing out to me for this pile, because I wonder if for some of you, you are trying so hard maybe to make your family proud of you, or to make, like it could be like, I really feel like this is something just to honestly think about, and I'm not going to tell you how you feel, but especially when you choose a bloodstone, like I think this talks so much about lineage, and I kept thinking like, how is lineage going to come into this? And I do wonder if there is some pressures, maybe a little bit put on you by your family members, or maybe you even just put it on yourself to impress or be more like a family member or something like that. And I do feel like sometimes you push yourself so hard because you really do just want people look at you and maybe be proud of you, but feel like you've accomplished a lot. So depending on the terminology, maybe one of those two makes more sense to you. Like maybe you always wanted your parents to be proud, or maybe you just always wanted the community to recognize your value, feel like you've done enough. Both kind of would create the same need to take a lot of action to be validated, or feel like, not even just validated, sorry, that might not be the best word, but to feel like you've earned your worth, earned your value. Yeah. Ooh, I feel like this pile has a lot of clearing going on. Should also say that because I keep getting the urge to yawn. I also keep getting the urge to like burp and things, and I'm actually not a very burpy person. I think I've said that before in these readings where it's like, I just don't really burp that much. I don't drink carbonated drinks, so I think that's probably a big help because I'm literally not putting like CO2 into me. But it's just not something I do a lot, is burp. So whenever it feels like it keeps coming up in a reading, I'm like, can be a sign there's just some actual clearing and releasing that needs to happen. Truth, honor, Empress, and integrity. So we literally do have a balance card coming up, finding that balance. And I feel like it's talking about finding the balance in your own eyes. So to someone else, maybe taking a lot of action looks very unbalanced, but for you, there's a certain degree of action taking and sitting with your emotions that will be your version of balanced. And what I want to honor for this is you might actually be someone who just is more high energy. You might be someone who just like actually doesn't feel quite well if you're just maybe more stationary. So if that is the case, then yeah, your balance might be more action taking than most people. But as long as that action is balanced out with the action isn't always for work, it is for joy, it is for recharge, re-energizing, like grounding and centering yourself. You know, if it's something you're really passionate about or just makes you feel good, even if it is more of an activity, like that is fueling you. So whatever your balance is, and I think that's something really worth exploring, like not basing it off of maybe what other people are like, because I really do feel like this pile could be more high energy, but yeah, finding your own path and your own balance. And I always just think like, I'm so drawn to the mountains here and the river. And I was thinking, way long ago, so long ago now, I took like a very intro course to like a type of shamanism here, or shamanic practice. It was very brief. And they talked about everyone has their own river to their soul. And part of me feels like finding your river to your soul, like reconnecting more with your soul and what it wants and what it needs to feel recharged and what it needs to feel balanced. I just keep kind of getting that message. So do like mountains, I do think of a lot of activity and a lot of connection. So it is saying like, yeah, if you're like, I really hate sitting still, then that doesn't mean you have to. It just means finding the balance between the working kind of action and the joy action, the action that just makes you feel connected with yourself, with the earth around you, with the universe. Yeah, with the people around you in the best of ways. So find those who inspire you to bloom. Kind of also an interesting follow-up is just all these cards underneath, I should say, are talking about finding a better support network. So it's interesting they have like 33 and then 3 right after. I do see that's like, who are you immediately surrounding yourself with? And if these people that you're surrounding yourself with, I want to be very clear, I feel like they might have very negative outlooks or very, like, we'll say low energy outlooks on things. So there's nothing wrong with their belief systems. It's just, I feel like they are quite honestly hard to be around. There could just be like, literally, like, could be quite heavy people. Like, I'm like, what do I mean by that? Like, you know, someone who's struggling to like be happy about anything in life. Who sometimes, there's some people, not all, in those situations who just without realizing it try to bring people into their world. So they'll try to kind of get you to be on their level and see the reality they're living in. And they could do it by kind of putting down everything you're excited about and making it into something more negative or something that like isn't that exciting. And usually when you're like really excited about something and you share that thing with these kind of people, you won't feel validated, seen, and you usually feel kind of icky after because they didn't really get why you're so excited. They weren't really happy for you. It was just kind of about them and how nothing in the world is beautiful. I don't know if that quite makes sense to this pile, but I just can't stop looking at the eyes, and like I feel like literally some people make you very tired that are in your life. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you can get really like stuck in some people's negativity. It might be the right word. Like I just keep kind of seeing though, like this person who doesn't consciously realize that they're trying to make everyone else not find a joy in life. Like it's so hard to explain that. It's like I feel like known a couple of people like this where they just like are so upset with how life is, and they like just don't want anyone else to be happy because they feel like if everyone else is happy with life, then they aren't actually, oh, how do I put that? Like they're just being naive and dumb is actually how someone once said it to me. They're like, if happy people are dumb because we're ruining the earth and we shouldn't exist as humans because all we do is destroy things. Like, I don't know if you have people like that, but just someone who's like a super negative Nancy. And it's like they really just need someone else to be on their level. It's like they don't realize it, but they're kind of like making everyone else around them a little depressed, a little negative, because anything you try to share with them kind of gets put into a negative outlook or like turned into bad things. So if you have people like that, ultimately, if you have people like that, this is where I kind of get the message of you are worthy of like some higher energy people. If you are still talking to people like that, or if these people surround you and it's because you're like, well, these are the only people I know, or if there's some sort of like, well, I've known them for years, it's kind of saying like, but if they've I feel like these people rob you of sleep. I keep getting that. I don't know if people like call you at weird hours in the night. I don't know if you like this could be a parent maybe that you live with to help support them, but it's like they're so negative and they're so draining. They're like taking all of your energy from you. And once again, I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just because they want so badly for everyone else to kind of match their energy. It kind of revalidates them that life sucks and there's nothing they can do about it. And I just feel like it's saying like, if you have a situation like that, it's really time to get out of it. It's really time to get out of it. And I really like there is a place within me, still calm, steady, and eternal, protected, peace. I do feel like there's just so much saying like, that you're like strong enough to get through this. So for some of you, I don't think this is everyone, but I'm definitely getting like someone's energy here who is like, I can't leave my mom. Like, I can't leave my mom. It's so specific, so don't take it if it doesn't make sense. And essentially, I think that's also why the bloodstone keeps coming forward. It's like, you can't leave her because, you know, she needs you to help pay rent, or like, she just is emotionally very codependent on you. But I really feel like this person is like draining all the energy out of you. Like I feel like this person, whoever this is watching this, is kind of a young person. And I feel like you've aged so much from the stress. And everything I'm seeing here is like you, at some point, need to realize that you deserve to go on your own path. So many things here talk about finding your own journey, finding your own path, and being so grounded and rooted in yourself that you don't need to stay in these situations that I feel like some people would call this toxic. And I don't know if you quite see it that way, because like I keep getting like that this parent doesn't really intend to do it. It's just, they're just kind of stuck in such a low, dense energy. And they don't realize how much they impact the people around them and how much energy they take out of people and out of the room. But I feel like it's saying it's so important for you to first establish like boundaries, like energy boundaries with this person, like leaving the room, being able to take breaks from them. But ultimately, I keep getting like going out on your own path, because I feel like if you stay in this environment, it is going to drain the energy out of you. Like You're going to feel lethargic and heavy like they are. You're going to feel like everything in the world is negative. And it's not because it is, it's because that's the reality that person lives in, and their energy is so heavy. I feel like it creates this like reality around them, this reality bias. Like their law of attraction for what they believe is pretty strong. And I feel like just being around them is very, very draining. So I do want to pull advice cards here for like, what are you supposed to do if you're someone who's having people like this in your life? Nurture yourself, experience peace and calm. Yeah, so that does make sense. Ultimately, it's so important for you to take care of yourself first. And I keep getting like, if this pile is like into meditation, I can see like it's so important to over time grow strength within yourself, that you know that no one else's energy can affect you, that no one else's energy can actually become your reality when you are strong in yourself. It's almost like if someone tries to put something on you, it's like your energy literally is like, no, thank you. You can believe that over there, but I have my peace over here. And you can have your reality and I have mine. And it's like not something you actually have to physically say. It's something like your energy says. It's almost like if I look at this bubble, it's like this person's beliefs can't get into it because your beliefs are so much higher. So establishing a groundedness and a connection to both the earth and I would say the sky, I want to say the earth and the sky, like the universe, that everything is working for you, everything's protecting you. I think with time, this person will stop affecting you as much, but I do believe ideally it would be best to be able to move out of this person's home or out of their life a bit more. But for some of you, I'm getting like you just don't have those circumstances available. So the advice I keep getting is just to find that grounded peace and calm within yourself. There's also a call about bringing more joy into your life. I actually am getting like a suggestion if you're someone who really loves fiction books, or even nonfiction books, getting lost in stories, like in the joy of a story, doing things for more pleasure. So you have rejoice and laugh, because that is so true. When we are in joy, it's such a high vibration that it counters this person's low density. So the more often you can experience lightheartedness, joy, laughter, you essentially, it will be harder for you to be affected by this person's negativity. Yeah, negativity. That's the word I'm going to say. And then the more you can kind of, when you're pulled out of that energy, you see that things aren't as bad as this person kind of can make you feel they are. And I really do feel like that's ultimately what happens, is you kind of get depleted and then you start to see the world like this person does. And I think you start to realize that, and then you're just so tired. I just don't know if you always know how to get out of it. So let's see other things. We have enjoy clear hearing and connected to spirit and nature. So this is, once again, it comes back to that number one, where there's so much here where it's like really coming back to the very first thing that you can control and do, getting grounded in yourself, feeling reconnected with yourself. Because when you're really rooted in yourself, you're in your strongest state. And also this card talks about following your instincts and your intuition. And the other thing that I find interesting with mauve is I do always think of like lavender, which is about being calm and clear in yourself and literally clearing energy. So I do just keep getting a lot of things saying that when you're connected and centered in yourself, that clears your energy. So if that's something else that you worry about, like needing like a lot of energy cleanses from your environment or from being around these people, like I said, I don't know if you're living with them, I don't know if you're working with them or both, but it's just saying actually when you're just within yourself and grounded, that is actually your best energy shield. And that actually is your best energy cleanser, because it just really gets you, like, it makes you, it's like doing those body scans, if you've heard of that, where you just check in with yourself. And if you feel like tension in your body, you're like, wait, is that mine or is that someone else's? As soon as you realize it's not yours, it just poofs away. It's just gone. Because as soon as you intentionally put that focus on what is yours and what is not, it no longer exists in your energy. It's like you've brought your awareness to it. So I feel like it's essentially like that. When you're connected with yourself, you're doing body scans, it actually becomes very aware of what is yours and what is not. And it really does keep you clear and centered. Any other advice for this pile right now? Okay, we have attract success. Scarlet. Yeah, so red. Once again, this is talking about when you're rooted and you're centered in yourself, things are coming to you better. Like I even feel like lucky number 7. That's when you feel like everything is happening for you. It's honestly the opposite of the belief of this person. It's like magic can happen. You trust in your beliefs again. I think that's ultimately what it does, is it gets you grounded in yourself and reconnected to what you believe in, not what the others around you believe. And it helps you listen to your intuition to get you in the right places at the right time. And it brings in a new trust in yourself that sometimes you can forget when you're ungrounded. Okay, so I did just ask, what should you do about these people or person that might be kind of depleting you? And I got Amber, awaken your creativity. So I kind of like this. So part of me is feeling like the answer isn't going to be clear. Like I feel like perhaps if you felt stuck in this situation, if it's living or work, if you've been like, all right, there's either I quit the job or I stay at the job, or I move out, or I stay in the house. I wonder if there is some creative solution. So something in between, something that isn't black and white. And when we're grounded and we're like, it did give a lot of advice about getting more into joy place, because that way we start thinking more creatively. I do feel like there is going to be some solutions that you think of where it might look like minimizing your time with this person without having to create a big scene or a huge disturbance in your life. So I would say ultimately the biggest advice right now is to get rooted and centered in yourself again. Okay, look at that. Lastly, we have be persistent. And then I love that it comes out with in connecting to body, mind, and soul. So I really do feel like it's saying anything you're taking away from this reading, it is to consistently create a practice of reconnecting with your body. It will help you become aware of when you've taken on this other person's energy or these other people's energy. You can get it out of your system faster once you realize that it's not yours, it's not your attitudes, it's not yours to carry. It will ultimately help you just in these situations of being around people, not accidentally take on their beliefs or have their thoughts kind of like circulating in the subconscious. It also will help you start to see some creative solutions to your situation. So getting rooted is the biggest thing. And I also like that one of your cards did say, be patient, it's all going to work out. That was the second card that came out. So I really do like that. It's like saying this won't last forever. I really love it when card readings do mention that, because sometimes that is what we need to know, that this time, this hardship isn't going to last forever. This is just a moment in time. And we do the best that we can do now. We find the most balance we can. We find our way the best that we can. And we find how to stay centered in ourselves the best we can for our best results. Okay, pile 2s, I'm going to leave it here. I'm so sorry you're going through a hard time. I just really want you to take away from this reading that you are going to find your place. You are going to find even like a deeper understanding of who you are and where you belong, and that all your action taking isn't hopeless and it isn't for nothing. Your time will come where it will all pay off. But for now, just try to stay as centered in yourself. Give yourself a break sometimes and know that it is okay to be upset about your circumstances and grieve those things that you're wanting that aren't in your life yet. And that's okay. You are going to find your place. You are going to find your people. So I'm going to leave you here. This reading doesn't have an extended, but if you do want to join the YouTube membership, there is members only videos there and extended readings that you have access to, all of them if you become a YouTube member. Yeah, so maybe I'll see you in one of those, and if not, I'll catch you in another pick a card reading. Good luck with the time ahead. Hello, my pile 3s. So you chose the Moonstone Angel, Rainbow Moonstone, apologies. And you know, it's so funny, I actually have this in a large deck, but for some reason, I just wanted to do the mini deck. I don't know, it's weird, so I just went with it. So I'll put your pile selection over there. And let's just ask, all in one light for your highest good. What do you need to hear right now from your guides? What do they want you to know? Oh, and leveling for your highest good. You know, I haven't done these readings in what feels like a long time, like just asking what your guides want you to know right now. And I honestly feel like sometimes it's the best advice because, well, you know, who knows better than the people on your side, on your team, what you need to know right now. So here we have, you are a powerful light worker. It is safe for you to be powerful. Your spiritual power brings great blessings and loving service to the divine. I always love this card because I find it so beautiful. I just feel like the visuals are so great. To me, it just like talks about like letting all of who you are really be seen by the world. And if you're someone who struggles, especially like you chose the Rainbow Moonstone, I always feel like this one talks about maybe going through some difficulty with like feeling you're accepted as you are, like that exactly who you are, good and bad, is beautiful enough and the world will love you for it. And then I really do love that this card comes out, really just validating that like you're very lovable. You're a very lovable pile. And if people could see who you are at the truest essence at the core, I think they would love you even more than you realized. Workshops and seminars. Okay. We'll pull a few more cards here just to really see what's going on. Listen to your intuitive feelings. I love how these small cards fit so many. Pull so many cards and there'd be so much room. Integrity. Interesting. I feel like all the piles have gotten a card that mentions something like that. Integrity. This is pile 3 needs to know. Sacral. Base chakra. Release. Okay. So there is just a lot of talk right now in these piles about what you're needing to be the most grounded in yourself. Like I said, not my intention, but it makes sense. We're our strongest selves and our best version of ourselves when we are the most connected and rooted in ourselves. So it would make sense that this just keeps coming up in today's readings. Workshops and seminars. Actually, let me pull a clarifying card to that because I'm wondering, my first instinct on this is that maybe you've been debating going to like a little workshop or seminar, or even to like maybe like a energy tune-up session or a counseling session or something. But I feel like there's been a hesitation. So Earth Angel, solar plexus. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so definitely feel like there's something that you've been thinking about going to. Maybe it's a specific event, or you've been thinking you should seek out an event that just helps you kind of work through maybe some parts work or some inner child stuff that might be coming up. Essentially anything that kind of is a bit of old programming or limiting beliefs. So I would imagine if when I talked about you being maybe feeling a little bit like you're not fully accepted as you are, or people might not love you if they saw the truest you wonder if that would be attached to a part or a belief within yourself that you're kind of aware of, I would think, if you've chosen this pile. And I wonder if you've just been like, okay, I really want to do like a weekend retreat about that. And maybe it's a meditation retreat, or maybe it's just like a online breathwork class, or trying to think of something else. Like something like that where it might just be like a weekend thing, or maybe it's a once a night for a month thing, or something like that. Something that kind of helps you feel supported and getting to the root of why this is coming up for you, why you have this fear of maybe really being as fully yourself as possible. So you might be someone who is a little shy in groups or in public. Or if you aren't feeling shy, you might just like feel like you need to not be the most authentic version of yourself. Oh, cat. Millie. Oh, she's purring. Okay. Minor cat distraction. So if any of that is resonating, I would say this is definitely confirmation that it would be very supportive to you to do that, do a course or do some sort of workshop, or I do want to say it's a workshop though, because I feel like it's consistent accountability to check in with yourself and work on this, because I do feel like it's like a belief system that keeps coming up. It could even be like doing like cognitive therapy or something, where it like works on like a repeating thought in your brain that keeps coming up, or some sort of somatic work. Classic. But the next card, although you can't see it at the moment because my cat is taking it over, it literally says trust your intuition and trust how you're feeling about it. So once again, if as I'm saying this, there is something coming to mind, trust that that is the thing. Trust that that is the course for you or the thing that would be right for you. And if you're feeling really hesitant about it, I would get really curious about why you're feeling hesitant. Maybe it's just like financials. Maybe you've been trying to be a little more budget orientated and you're like, I'm not sure if this makes the most sense. But I would say if you're feeling really called to it, I feel like this might be one of those cases where the payoff of how it helps you become more of yourself and put yourself more out there could be the thing you're needing to get opportunities for work that maybe you weren't having before, or be more successful in opportunities for work, because I feel like you'll just be putting yourself out there more. Because I feel like essentially we'll have worked on this limiting belief. Okay, Millie, I don't remember what this card was. Oh, integrity. Okay, integrity. Yes, so that one is interesting. So that one really talks about having put a lot of responsibility on yourself. Oh boy. Cats. So align your actions so that they match your values and inner knowingness of what's right for you. This is actually where I feel like you've been probably feeling pretty blocked. Like, I feel like this pile, there's a part of you that knows what you want to do and what you need to do to kind of get whatever it is you're looking for in life. So just with all these light worker cards coming through, I imagine it is to do with work. Usually it's to do with work. Could even be with relationships too, though. So don't let that be a limiting thing. Maybe you've like know what kind of person you want or their attachment style that you're looking for. But this is where I feel like there's that parts work that's coming up. There's some small part of you that's holding on to an outdated belief that is, it doesn't, I feel like it's a worthiness thing where it's something like if like I want this, but I'm not sure I'm worthy of it. I want this, but I'm not sure I can have it. And I really want to be clear. Usually when I see this stuff come up, it's like a subconscious part. So the conscious you really, really, like it says, align, like it knows what it wants, but it's like something within you is not aligning with that belief because it doesn't believe it's possible. So that workshop or session or course or whatever it is really ultimately, I feel like going to start to get you connected to what that belief is, where it's being held onto, and even starting to work with that version or that part of yourself to update the belief. Not get rid of it, but like not get rid of that part of yourself, but just update it. That's what I think it needs, is a conscious update. So if this is making sense, once again, this should be a confirmation of something you're already thinking about. Twin flames, you know what? This is where I'm like, maybe this is actually a type of love you've always wanted or a type of partner you've always wanted. It says the answer to your question involves a spiritually based romantic relationship. So could be that you've really, really want to find like a love of your life kind of person or someone who just gets you. And I would believe, once again, there's this part that comes up who doesn't quite feel as open to it as the rest of you. So it's really like, that's why I call it an out of date part, because it really needs to get like the updated program of like, oh yeah, we've grown up, we're adults now. You no longer believe this to be true anymore for us. In sacral chakra, you are highly sensitive to chemicals, additives, processed foods, and energies right now. Respect your sensitivities by avoiding harsh items, situations, relationships. So it's interesting when I actually read this card, is I wonder if it's saying you're extra aware and like sensitive to people's actions and behaviors. So if you're like dating right now and you're like, I am just so overly aware of when people are being avoidant or when people are saying things and they're being kind of passive or aggressive, I would say it's saying maybe until like, if this is only if you're like, you know, if you're ready in a relationship, obviously this is not going to be the same advice. But if you're someone who's just online dating right now and you're not really finding anyone that really feels like that level of relationship you're wanting to have, like they're like, you know what I'm saying? It would say that there is a suggestion to maybe put your attention and energy on yourself right now, and more specifically getting to the root of that part of you that feels like it's not worthy of this higher partner to come in. It's not worthy of that kind of great love. Because that will get you further and faster to see where you're kind of self-sabotaging. But once again, it's just a part of you that's doing that. It's not all of you, because I really do feel like it's just a part. I want to be very clear about that. So anyways, the other thing too is I feel like it's talking about awakening your sacral chakra, which, yes, does control the sexual organs and all those things. So getting things that make you feel, I would say, more good in your body. So if you're someone who doesn't always dress up, and that's totally cool, but maybe making the intention to do those things, to like pay attention and look in the mirror more, to literally create a practice of more self-love where you're like feeling yourself more, where you're like, wow, I look really good today. Or intentionally doing your hair or something like that. Just doing small things that make you feel like, wow, I look great. I feel great. Like, it's just boosting that confidence and getting more into that like creative chakra, that joy chakra. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like overall it's really good. Also, the sacral chakra is how we manifest too. So being more in the sacral chakra is great. You might even want to work with like wearing the color orange more, or doing some more creative activities that could look like, even like maybe if you've been wanting to rearrange your room or things in your house, you could do that. It's just like a nice little creative thing, just change things up. Also, sometimes it's nice to physically change how our rooms are set up, because it kind of changes our habits in that space, because our minds will just start to consciously start to make routines off of what we've normally done. So I always say, like, if people always have the same, say every day at 8 a.m. you wake up and you go and make a coffee in that space. Like, you go and you stand on that spot, and then every time you stand on that spot is when you thought about making a coffee. It's like changing up your space sometimes going to change up your habits. So coffee isn't necessarily the worst thing to think about, but say every time you stand in front of your kitchen sink, you think about how you wish you weren't alone. Then it's like, maybe change some things in that space so that you don't go into those negative thought patterns. If you change your space, you can kind of trick, I should say, your mind into thinking it's in a new environment. And new environments means you can control new thoughts. Sometimes that works. Anyways, like, this pile's a little, like, I'm not sure about that. That's cool. Not everything's for everyone. Base chakra. Choose only positive thoughts to describe your home, career, finances, as your world determines your outcome. And release. Let go of what no longer serves you or your purpose. So I love this. So this is where I was saying, if some of you are in the dating world and it feels like you've been on a few dates with people and you're like, well, this is better than what I've had, but it still isn't quite what I'm wanting, but maybe it could be it. I feel like there's a little bit of a message here to say, maybe it's okay to let this go so that something even better can come in. Don't need to settle. Also, I do keep feeling like it's so important for this pile to get more confident and grounded in themselves. And I keep feeling like releasing some things from the past. So you might have had a pretty bad breakup, or you might have had some, I don't know, maybe some trust violated in a past relationship or something like that. But I just keep feeling like it's time to give yourself space to let go of maybe some beliefs that were formed from a past relationship. It could be maybe that you're hard to be with, or maybe like a partner told you that, like something like that. I just feel like there's like some limiting, not so nice things said. And it's like, it's giving yourself time to get more grounded in yourself so that you don't let yourself settle for anything less than you deserve. I also feel like this pile could benefit from listening to some podcasts about what healthy relationships look like, what healthy attachment styles look like, how to work through communication blocks, just as like reminders of what you're wanting. And once again, I do feel like when you do that, that makes you more aware and sensitive to when people are behaving badly. It like helps you be like, yeah, that person is doing these things, and I know that literally means they have an avoidant attachment style, or that they are not emotionally available. And it will help you if you like release relationships that aren't quite, I don't want to say worthy of you, but like where the people just emotionally aren't available for you, that you don't find yourself in more of these cycles. And then once again, I do get that like confirmation around, if it was resonating with you, that switching up your space, moving some furniture around, decluttering could be really helpful. Could just help take some heaviness out of your space, create something new, create something fresh, something like that. Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Battery died. Only had like a minute left to say, so okay, well, I had just said, lastly, just to end this card reading, for 2 more cards for you. And the cards I got were Archangel Michael and Ascended Masters, and both of them talk about you're being so protected and guided right now. So if there are relationships that you're really like keen on or excited about, and this could, if it's for work, if there was even jobs that you were really excited about that didn't work out, don't feel like you missed out. Don't feel like it was your loss, because with Archangel Michael coming on this card, it always talks about how like they are coming in on your behalf to make sure that what you've asked for comes in and you're not taken or captivated by the wrong thing, that the wrong thing doesn't draw you in and get your attention. So if it feels, if you feel upset about something not working out, you didn't miss out. You didn't miss out. It wasn't for you, and you're being very divinely guided and protected right now. Loving and wise spiritual teachers are watching over you and guiding you. I love that verbiage, and that the angels are working closely with you and protecting you and guiding you through situations. So that is such a great summary card, because it's like, only the things that are really what you have been asking for, what you've been saying you were wanting, are going to find their way to you. So I just feel like, although it might feel a little longer than you like, things are working out in that sort of slow divine way. That slow divine way. Okay, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so much for watching this whole video, and I really hope that the workshop or whatever it is like helps you work through some of this so that you can get into that life that you're really excited for, so you can experience whether it is this job or this partnership that you've been wanting. It's gonna come in. Sorry, my one cat was about to jump on the lady cat. She was probably gonna start being upset about it. So anyways, ending on the note of cat distractions. If you enjoy my readings, there is YouTube memberships available. You can always sign up just for a month and watch what you like. You have access to all the members only videos during that month and all the extendeds, and it's just a cool way you can support me and my channel. But that being said, watching also always helps. So anyways, maybe I'll see you in another pick a card videos, and just best of luck with your situation.